Yo, so what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back with another video. So on this video, guys, I'm basically gonna go over some of the biggest losses that I took in my business, basically when I was going through the journey of scaling it up and trying to go full-time. Because I know a lot of influencers, they like to brag about all the thousands, hundreds, thousands, whatever, all the wins, all the big gains, all the ROIs, all the big finds, clearance stuff that hit big. But a lot of them will never talk to you about their losses, right? Like some of the stuff they went through, some of the things that they had to go through in order to achieve what they've achieved to this day. There's very little of any sellers that will actually talk about these things. So on this video, I want to go over some of the losses that I took, that hopefully some of you can learn from my mistakes if you're thinking about selling on Amazon. That way you don't make the same mistakes that I made on my journey. All right, now before we get started, guys, be sure to smash that like button, drop a comment down below, please. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I can only improve if you guys let me know what I can do better on. All right, I'm no fancy editor or anything, but I do what I can. But with that being said, let's get started on the video. So my biggest mistake, loss that I want to consider as a loss for me, was not understanding a keeper graph from the very beginning. Keeper was the biggest game changer for me, that really made it easy for me to find profitable products. And not understanding how to use Keeper and just going based off sales ranks and this and that was just a terrible method to go about finding products. Because I know there's people out there who will tell you, hey, look for a product in 10K or 20,000, 30,000, less than 50,000 at least minimum. The problem with that is that items, their rank tends to change almost on a daily basis. So if you were to scan one item that was in a rank of 1,000 1 minute, well, by next week it could be in 100,000. And I've seen items like this where I've sold something that was like in the 10,000 category of a rank, and now it's like at 100,000. So you gotta be careful with this type of things. Like with stuff like that, you can use Keeper to help you determine if the rank will continue to keep going up, going down, how the past has been with this rank. Is it a seasonal thing where during the seasons it goes down so it sells faster, and then once the seasons are up, then the rank will go back up, making it harder to really sell. So understanding these things, learning what a Keeper graph is. I mean, I've said this multiple times already, guys, I can't stress this enough. Understand what a Keeper graph is, learn how to read one, because otherwise you're just gonna go, you're basically gambling on products at this point, right? So make sure you understand how to use a Keeper graph. Now, another huge loss, and actually this is an actual loss that I took as far as on money, was I made a huge bad buy. And this was from a wholesaler that I actually purchased this item from. Now, the crazy part about this product is that I've tested this product like 2 times already, okay? Like 2 or 3 times. The first 2 times they were relatively small. Third time it was a bit bigger, and they sold. And they sold relatively fast, especially for a pretty good profit. Now, I decided to go extremely deep on this certain product, okay? So I bought like a few hundreds of this unit. So I ended up wasting like close to $3,000 on this wholesale order. This actually happened last year. So I sent them in or whatever, and I think at the time I was waiting for someone to sell out, or 2 people, because they only had like a few units left. So I was waiting for their units to sell out, and then mine would start kicking in. Well, what happened was that there was some other seller who went out and went even deeper than me. Like, this seller went like deep, like whatever I purchased, he bought like 4 or 5 times whatever I purchased in. So he tanked the price dramatically, probably because he got a better price to me. I mean, it's possible. The more you spend with some of these wholesalers, distributors, the more of a discount they're willing to negotiate with you if you bring up the conversation. So he tanked the price pretty hard, like to the point where I was sitting on it for a while, like, because I bought this like in last summer. And it wasn't until like Q4 when I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna liquidate this already, get back whatever money I can, because otherwise I'm gonna be paying huge amounts of dollars in fees for these products to just sit there. So, and honestly, it wasn't really nothing that I did wrong on my end as far as on research. I mean, because I mean, like I said before, I tested it 3 times before and it sold relatively well. So, that worked for me. But I mean, it just goes to show you guys that no matter how certain you can be of a certain product, you have to be careful going pretty deep on a product, right? So, I mean, it's just part of the game. You win some, you lose some. I mean, we'll see what happens with this particular item. I've been keeping an eye on this here and there. I still have a few units of it. Luckily, I've gotten rid of more than half of what I had. So, I mean, I'm still taking losses from that particular item. So I'm still liquidating it, making sure it's gone, getting back some money, and reinvesting that back into some profitable products. So again, you gotta be careful of how deep you go on a product. But I mean, it could work also because I found a new product that I went basically the same amount of deepness on it, and it's going really well. So again, but that's just one of my mistakes, and that's actually probably my biggest loss that I took in this business financially was that wholesale order from last year. But we'll move on from it. We're okay. We're still making money, still making profit. So all in all, I mean, we learn from it. Now, let's see. Next on the list, throwing money at software that you don't need. And I made this on a previous video, but I mean, it's true, guys. When you're starting out and you want to start selling on Amazon, you don't want to be throwing your money at just any software that comes your way, especially from some of these gurus and influencers, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You got to be careful what they're promoting, and you got to look at, what are they getting from this doing this promotion to you, because there's certain things like a certain company called I forgot. I'm forgetting the name of it actually at the time of this video, but it's a service that pays you faster or whatever to get you your money. And I mean, the sellers who promote this, they get like $500 or whatever for every referral they get or something like that, but it's not really a tool you're probably gonna need anyways. So you have to be careful with that. And then just, I mean, you don't want to throw in any software they throw at you, right? Because you might not end up needing it at the end. And that's what I did in the beginning. I bought this software, that software, because I thought I needed it. I was like, okay, if I have all these softwares, it's gonna elevate my business and take me to the next level. None of them really did. I used them like here and there. Like I really tried to use them and utilize them, but at the end I was like, man, I don't really need this, at least not yet, not at that moment. And other ones I just didn't need at all whatsoever. So who knows, maybe down the road, maybe I will go back, check them out and see if they fit me in my business now. But the loss with that was just throwing those hundreds of dollars away every single month trying to use those particular software. So be careful, do your due diligence. If there's 2 software I always recommend when starting out, if you can afford it. Number 1, Keepa. Number 2, Inventory Labs, if you don't want to keep track of all your profit and losses on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet. But that's just me. Let's see. Another loss that I took is I was kind of a little bit close-minded when I started my business. So, I didn't really want to take as much info from like a lot of other sellers and stuff. But there's a benefit of that as well, because you can learn a thing or two from different types of sellers, right? So, I learned a huge amount of my stuff from my boy Noah, but I also learned a few things from other people as well. Even if it's just like 3 things, those 2-3 things really made a pretty good impact on my business as well, because that's something that this person didn't know, or that person didn't know, or maybe you just like the style the style that they did it, a certain way. So that's why it's important to take some info, but you also don't want to take all of it, because you don't want to get swamped of tons of information that you might not end up needing at the very end. Okay, so just be careful of who you follow, how much of it you follow, and what you take from it. Okay, so that's a little loss that I want to say I took in the beginning. Let me see. Another loss was understanding cycles. Okay, so like when it comes to like seasonal stuff, like Halloween candy, Christmas decor, candy, and all that stuff, Valentine stuff, you gotta learn there's certain cycles when it comes to selling some of these things. You either have to be very early head on, jumping on listings with these type of things. Otherwise, if you go midway or even a little bit after you first, you're about to have a bunch of sellers jump on those same particular listings, and then prices are gonna tank the crap down. So you have to be careful of that. Learn the cycles. I mean, if you start sending shipments in halfway through like December, maybe like the beginning of December, they'll most likely arrive on time for Christmas, which means that everybody else who shipped before are already selling out while yours are being shipped in. So that means you can actually bump your price up like just a tad bit and actually sell out right before the holidays. So you gotta look for stuff like that. And not just with seasonal stuff, I mean particular toys and whatnot, trending stuff like fidget spinners or something like that. Like you want to be early head on. If everybody's doing it by the time you want to do it, it's probably best to avoid it at that point, because you don't want to get burnt out on money, right? And on time. And let me see. Last loss that I took in my business was not being aware of sellers rising on listings. And this goes back to the keeper charts, right? Like I just went out based off some ranks and stuff, but not understanding how to read a keeper chart means I didn't understand, or better yet, I didn't know how many sellers were on particular listings. So when you buy certain stuff, I mean, because there's the lead list out there that give out products to people who are willing to pay for it, and when that happens, that usually is gonna spike a 20 plus amount of sellers on that particular listing. So when you see something like that, you kind of want to avoid it, just because those prices are gonna continue to tank, and you don't want to get into that, and especially if you're gonna make little to no money on that particular product. Okay, so I mean, these are just my few losses that I took into the business, especially when I started out. I mean, I know certain things you might think like, man, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, why did I do this, I regret doing that. And the bottom truth is that a lot of these things are just lessons on it. I mean, like I don't even consider them losses, they're more like lessons, because you learn from them, you learn from those mistakes that you made, and you basically learn never to do them again, right? So like me, testing that one product like that 3 or 4 times, it's really hard to keep testing that huge of amount on another product, because I can't imagine if I wasted like 6 to 10,000 on one product. But I've been testing a few products that they've been selling really well constantly, month after month after month, and the price has been pretty steady on a lot of these products. So I might just go pretty deep again. But yeah, guys, those are just my losses that I've learned, taken in my business up to this point so far. There will probably be more, even bigger ones. Who knows? Hopefully not. And if they are, at least I guess we learned something from that, right? But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like button, drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Later.